Welcome to Rob Schmitt Tonight. Due process has been this week's catchphrase as Democrats spin the fight to return a likely MS-13 gang member to the United States. Due process, we're told, is what they're so desperate to protect. Embarrassing for anybody that actually believes them. What we're really seeing is a collective effort by the left to save the most important scam that they have pulled on this country in decades. That is importing as many as 20 million people endlessly loyal to their party into our country and then spreading them all over into every single state, oftentimes in the middle of the night, as we saw. Did we really think that they were going to just sit back and let Trump send all of these people home? The open border scandal cost them the last election. It was a major investment for the Democrat Party. They're not going to just let this gargantuan, mission-critical scheme be reversed, and that is obvious. There was no process to bring all these people in, but Democrats are creating a hell of a process to take them out, keep millions of illegals here through Trump's term, get amnesty from the next Democrat government for all of them. Wait till they start voting. And as they do this, Hakeem Jeffries is simultaneously putting his party back on track with moderates while trying to keep all these people in the country at the same time. What a con artist. Now claiming with a straight face that Democrats do, of course, want a strong border.
We definitely have to be clear that we believe that we should have a secure border. That's first and foremost. And I think we've repeatedly endeavored to make that clear throughout this Congress. We were slow to act as an administration and as a party on the southern border crisis, and it hurt us not simply with traditional Republican voters or swing voters, but in some segments of our own base communities and in communities of color, including right here in New York.
We were slow to act, he said. Bro, you blew the border up and then sat back with the popcorn for 4 years. The sociopathic ability of these people to lie so casually the way that they do should be studied someday. That's their great talent, lying. Hakeem says Democrats now want a secure border. As long as deportations continue at a relatively slow rate, of course they do. They don't need anyone else. This was always the plan. The short-term political pain of allowing the 4-year invasion of a sovereign nation will be well worth it when they all start voting in maybe 5 to 10 years, if they can make it happen. Earlier today, independent journalist Tim Pool was invited to the White House press briefing. He slammed the establishment media for their partaking in another grand hoax, that of the innocent Maryland man known as Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Many of these organizations that are represented in this room have marched in lockstep on false narratives, such as the Very Fine People hoax, the Covington smear, and now what's being called the Maryland man hoax, where an MS-13 gang member adjudicated by 2 different judges, I believe, is just simply being referred to as a Maryland man over and over again.
We were always right. The president was always on the right side of this issue to deport this illegal criminal from our community. And it is despicable to see the media continue to refer to this individual as someone who is just a peaceful man living his life in Maryland. This was and always has been an illegal criminal, an MS-13 gang member, and a designated foreign terrorist. And the administration maintains our position to deport these individuals from our communities.
The collective gaslight that the left has pulled on this particular story has been epic. Remember that. And we now have another activist judge in the state of Colorado ruling Alien Enemies Act deportations must come with a 21-day warning now. So they're going even further. So these guys, remember these guys in Aurora? When Tom Homan comes for them, they're going to get a 21-day heads up before being deported. These guys that took over an entire apartment complex with their gang. Supreme Court Justice Robert Jackson once said, without wisdom, the Constitution could be converted into a suicide pact. This moment is a prime example. The left weaponizes the good nature of this country, the best in the world, to its people. They weaponize that good nature in order to undermine the country. We were told millions could just walk into our country and claim asylum. Joe Biden told us the whole world has a right to be heard. They should surge the border, he said. Now they're here. And due process is now being weaponized to keep them all here. This is exactly what Jackson predicted. Today we have a Democrat Party that's no longer loyal to the country. They've made that clear. They view the United States as simply the funding mechanism for a greater global coalition. They have grandiose plans for your country, which involve your safety and quality of life decreasing dramatically for the betterment of the larger coalition. That's exactly what happens when you dump 20 million people into the country. And they don't really care about the stories that come with it. Here's Chris Van Hollen last night, feigning empathy for an American tragedy that was spun from their globalist scheme.
What would you say to Miss Morin if you saw her in person?
Well, what happened to Rachel Morin was awful. And what happened to the Morin family, it should not happen to any family in America. I mean, nobody should have to suffer like that. I cannot imagine the pain of losing a child. I was heartened by the fact that Rachel's killer was convicted. The issue here, as you well know, is the fact that in this other case, the other person, Brager Garcia's rights, constitutional rights, needs to be respected.
So much empathy. They put the people into this country that committed these crimes. And they talk about how all we need is a court of law to make all of this right. Well, you know, it doesn't change the fact. A guilty verdict doesn't change the fact that somebody's dead, somebody's raped. It happens a lot. Doesn't care. Rachel Morin was the collateral damage that they always shrug off because the larger plan is more virtuous in their minds. We all must suffer for the greater good they say will come once their grand plan is realized.
You know, folks, I thank God for my wonderful wife, my kids, my country, the greatest nation ever. And Americans like you who believe in the truth, the Chris Salcedo Show will never stop fighting for you.
The Chris Salcedo Show, for the news you need to know.